Hey folks, thank you for joining me for Meet the Maker. Today I am joined by two makers that work here in Addison at Pioneer Service Inc. We have Laurel Hermann, the Pioneer's customer service specialist, and Karina Ramanauskas, their operations supervisor. Karina, do you want to tell me a little bit about what Pioneer does as a company?
Yes, Pioneer Service is a small job shop in Addison, Illinois. We specialize in a Swiss CNC machining of a precise parts, and the main markets our parts going to are automotive, electrical cars, medical, and some aerospace.
Awesome. Karina, do you want to tell me a little bit about what you do at Pioneer?
I would love to. I'm Operations Supervisor. I work with all departments. My everyday is pretty exciting. I have to make sure that all the buying and planning, everything that goes in place meets on the same day. You know, the timing is good, the scheduling is good. I'm working with our quality department on a daily basis with our shipping, receiving. My job is to make sure I kind of feel, like sometimes I'm working on the O'Hare, so I have to make sure everything is, in place once we hitting that moment, to send parts to customer. But it's very exciting. It's interesting, I evolve with the company and I'm learning every day with what we're doing here. So I love what I do every day.
Cool. And Laurel, can you tell us what you do with Pioneer?
Sure. Yeah. So my main role here, customer experience specialist, actually entails a bunch of different tasks that I need to take care of. So any incoming emails or phone calls where customers need help with pricing, or maybe they're wondering if their order shipped or if they need a tracking number, I help them with that. And then I also tend to post all of our social media. So we use our social media to try and get the word out about manufacturing and let other people know, it's a great career path to choose. And right now with the labor shortage, we were short labor before the labor shortage. So we are doing our very best here at Pioneer to make sure we're getting the word out, and social media is one of the ways we do that.
Awesome. And Laurel, how did you get involved in manufacturing and ended up at Pioneer?
Completely by accident. Yeah. So I went to school, I got a bachelor's degree in English. And while that can be a very broad degree, I got out of college and I was like, what do I do now? I love working with customers, and when I found Pioneer, I looked at their mission, I looked at their leadership, I looked into who Anissa Madonna is, and I immediately knew that I wanted to be a part of this company. And then once I started and really understood what we do here and what we manufacture, it made me feel like I was giving back to my community. Even if I'm not the person making those tiny little parts, I'm helping the shop achieve their goals. And so it makes me feel like I'm giving back a little bit. It feels good.
That's awesome. I hear often how a lot of people get out of college looking for jobs, and really finding a company that fits that culture they're looking for is how they end up in the careers they're in.
Yeah.
Karina, how did you get involved in manufacturing and end up at Pioneer?
It's very similar like Laurel, but what happened, I have my bachelor degree in architecture, interior architecture, fine arts. So my graduation ceremony was in 2010. That was the moment when the whole construction crashed, the market went down. So I literally sent my resume maybe to like almost 100 companies. And they were like, if there would be any other time, we'll probably hire you, but we're firing our CEOs. The time it could be any worse. And what happened, I end up with all of the student loans, the bills are starting piling up. So I decided, like, it's time. The reality just hit, and it's time to find a job just to make the ends meet. And I applied to a company, anything that's asked for computer skills or typing, filing. I was like, I can do that. So I started with the company back in Norwich. It was a manufacturer, and since then, honestly, I would never go back. I'll never go back. It's been over 10 years that I've been in manufacturing, and I started. My very first job was a shipping clerk. I was doing, some filing, but since then, I was in charge of buying and planning the production. And as of now, I'm Operations Supervisor, and making things happen, especially planning and scheduling, is my passion, and I wouldn't change it for anything else. So being that architect, I think it's the best thing that could happen to me. But it was a great change, and I believe that things happening for a reason.
That's cool. And so with your architecture degree, you learned how to do like CAD software. Does that come in handy at Pioneer?
Yes, definitely come in handy. When I started in Pioneer, for me, it was very easy, to read prints, talk to the guys in the shop. So definitely a lot of things that I learned along with my degree, it helped me on my daily basis.
Awesome. Cool. So diversity and respect are some of the core values at Pioneer. Can you tell me what initiatives Pioneer has done to help promote diversity and inclusion at the company, and how Pioneer supports employees who are less represented in manufacturing? Laurel, do you want to talk about that first?
Sure, yeah. So we hired because we genuinely want diversity on our team. As Anissa would say, it's not just to check off a box. We want people from all backgrounds, all cultures, all races, all genders, because that brings us a different perspective. If you're not moving forward, then you're just standing still, and that's no good in the business world. And when you hire people from diverse backgrounds, what you do is you bring more knowledge, different knowledge that you might have never experienced because of your background or because of your culture or just because of the way things happened. So we make sure and try and make everyone welcome on our shop floor. One thing that we really love to do is bring students into the shop so that they see with their own eyes. There's women working in manufacturing, there's people my age working in manufacturing, there's people smiling and they're not dirty. This might be a place where I belong. And that's what we really want. We want people to feel like they belong here.
Karina, do you want to add to that?
Yes, so one of the outreach programs, like Laurel mentioned, the students, that's one of my favorite ones, when we get to share, excitement of our work day. But what I like about Pioneer as a company and Anita as the owner, she's organizing a lot of events that bring everyone together. We have boat rides on the outside of the company. We have quarterly meetings, with food, and this is the time we got to share our experiences. We can speak up, tell her about our ideas. There's a lot of outreach programs such as, collecting toys for hospitals, collecting food for shelter. All of those events bring everyone together. We're all from different cultures, whether you're female, male, different religions, different backgrounds. Events like this and teamwork that we can work together at those outreach programs, it brings us together as a team and also as people from different backgrounds. I really love this, and this is what the first company that actually I see this happening, besides just clocking in every day and going home.
Addison Public Library's strategic plan also promotes equity, diversity, and inclusion. So it's fantastic to see a company here in Addison also promoting that and having such a healthy culture promoting that diversity and inclusion. So it's great to hear some of those initiatives happening here in Addison to make everyone feel welcome. Just to clarify, both of you had mentioned how students came to see Pioneer. Are those students from Addison Trail High, College of DuPage? Could you just clarify what students usually come to visit?
Yeah, so typically we welcome students from all ages, but mostly we see from middle school, like Indian Trail Junior High School, and also Addison Trail High School come to visit. We also have people in neighboring communities sometimes come visit us, because not every city has a cool industrial park like Addison does.
Yeah. And so if one of those students or any adult is interested in a job in manufacturing or a job at Pioneer, how would they prepare for such a job or get some training? Karina, do you want to talk about that?
As far as the preparation for your life in manufacturing, I think, and despite all the parents, including my mom, I don't think you necessarily need a college degree. There's so many trade schools, so many courses, and even if you don't have experience, do not be afraid of starting from scratch, because a lot of companies such as Pioneer, we do offer training. We have amazing, training program along with our long-time employees. We have some employees that have been working for 30 years for a company. So I think anything that you can bring to the table, such as, knowing CAD, computer skills, different languages that you can use, to communicate with your peers. But any, type of courses, that'll be great. But even with no experience, the most what you can bring to manufacturing is your attitude. I always say that if you have no experience, we can always teach you. But the one thing we can never change for you is your attitude.
Yes.
There are some schools in our area, like College of DuPage, that offer CNC operations classes and also AutoCAD classes. So CNC operator would be someone that can use a computer numerically controlled device, which is what our machines use. So that could be helpful for not only manufacturing such as Pioneer does, but it could also be helpful in other trades because lots of machines are CNC machines. And then AutoCAD is also very helpful across many different trades because you need to be able to map out the project. So if you came into Pioneer and said, I've taken one AutoCAD class, but I'm in love with manufacturing and I want to make things, I mean, that's gravy for us. That's what we want to hear. Other things that we might look for are some solid math skills. So you're good with math, you're good with numbers, and also you like working with your hands. So maybe you like figuring out little puzzles and you don't mind standing on your feet because most of our operators are on their feet all day. So.
Cool. Yeah, I know College of DuPage has some amazing classes. I believe they have that project hire program to help people get into CNC and manufacturing. And then there's Symbol Training, which has a facility here in Addison that offers some training. And then to promote a little bit of Addison Library, we have a database called Gale Udemy, which is an online database with training videos and exercises. So if you have an Addison Public Library card, you can actually take a course in like AutoCAD and some other software. It's more of a basics to get started, but that's another way that people can tiptoe into a career in manufacturing. So what encouragement or advice would you give someone to begin a career in manufacturing? Laurel, do you want to start?
Sure. So number one, if you go into manufacturing right now, you're going to be highly sought after because of the fact that our manufacturing here in the US is going to continue to grow. That means we need labor to support that growth. And unfortunately, even before the growth has happened, we've estimated that we don't have enough people in the workforce that know how to do but we need them to do. So if you go through with 1 or 2 classes, or you go through the higher ed program, you will be highly sought after. And another great thing about working in manufacturing is there's always room to grow. So even if you start out doing the bare minimum, the way that our shop and many manufacturing shops work is there's so much collaboration going on, so much discussion about the best way to do it, or should we try something different, that you're going to learn while you're doing it and just continue to grow day after day.
Karina, do you have any encouragement or advice you'd like to share?
Yes, so elaborate on what Laurel said. I think the biggest advice I can give someone, respect experience. In every company, there's always one or two people, you know, they've been working for this company for 30 years or so. Those people as your first job, those people will be your biggest asset, your biggest resource. So try to learn as much as possible. Be humble at your first job, whether it's your first job or not. But when you're starting in manufacturing, be humble, never feel entitled. As a new person, you know, respect all your colleagues, and have a sense of belonging. Since you're there, you got this job, it means you belong there. Even if you're not, you know, super experienced, it's your first steps in manufacturing, you belong there. And with every you know month, every year, you will grow and you will gain this experience, and you will love it as we do.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Laurel and Karina, for joining me today for Meet the Maker. It was great hearing about Pioneer and what you do and what the company does to give back to the community. If any of our viewers want to know more about Pioneer, they can visit the website at pioneerserviceinc.com. And there is a career section if you're looking to start a job in Pioneer. Thank you and have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sarah.